Hello and welcome to the Sunday Pub. If you've never been here before or you just stumbled upon this, it's a bookish nerdery hangout where we talk about books and anything else we feel like. And we often do reading sprints. And last week was the first pub after 3 weeks of no pub. And that made me want to just hang out and talk to the interesting people who joined me. This week, I would like to do some sprints and talk to the interesting people who will join me. Speaking of people joining me, here's Derry.
Good morning.
How you doing?
Not too bad.
That's good. That's good. Glad to hear it.
Well, I'm out of bed and dressed.
Out of bed and dressed is a good start to the day.
2 weeks running.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, that's...
You had a good week?
No matter how my mood is doing, that's not a problem I have. That's not how my mood problems express themselves. And also I have a 7-kilo cat pushing at me and clawing at me. This morning,
That's the whole thing. It's the whole story.
She turns it into a game. She jumps up on the bed and she'll paw at me or claw me or meh, meh, meh. And I always just shove her off the bed. And I think she's decided that that's actually fun. So she'll jump up on the bed every 30 seconds, basically, and wait for me to throw her across the room. And then she'll be right back. Yeah.
That's the really sucky part of an animal, in that it's not like a snooze that you can turn off.
No. Sometimes it works. Sometimes I throw her off and maybe I do it violently enough or something that she's just like, okay, screw this. I'm tired of it. And she'll leave the room and come back 10 minutes later. So it is kind of like a snooze. But this morning she was just bouncing back up on the bed immediately.
You had support this morning from the kaka, that bird outside. When my alarm went off and I sort of thought, okay, get out of bed, make a cup of tea. Okay. And then all of a sudden the birds outside start shrieking at each other. And I was like, oh, okay, it's morning.
Yeah.
Time to get out of bed.
When I lived in Sydney, the really large tree just outside my room was the cockatoo tree.
Oh, no. Oh.
So you'd have the cockatoos. For those of you who don't know, cockatoos are very large white parrots with a yellow crest, and they are really loud. And they sit in trees by the hundreds and scream in the morning. All of them at once.
And they're just screaming. They're just shouting.
They're just and just scream really loud, and 100 of them at the same time.
I don't have, I can only at the minute hear 3.
Yeah.
But it's also that time of year here where it's just starting to warm up. Spring is springing. Buds on trees are starting to come out. There's a bit of colour happening.
Nice.
So the birds are all feeling themselves. And so they're all doing their best to show off and be the most glorious thing they could possibly be on 2 wings. And I live on the top of a hill, so it means that my view is amazing out over the valley because the birds are all showing off for each other at the moment. Oh, look at that fishy. She's so pretty.
Speaking of glorious things, here's Fitzy Fitz.
She's such a pretty girl.
She is a pretty girl. She hates being manipulated and picked up. So she's just being very patient right now so I can show her off. No. To anyone who doesn't know, I have a Maine Coon.
The big giantest pussycat.
She's
a pretty girl.
Whoa.
Ah, there goes your mic.
Yeah.
Oh, she's so pretty.
Yeah, she is large and heavy.
That's all right. You just lift her up a couple of times a day and you can say you've done your lifts for the day.
It's funny. I actually do that sometimes. She'll come and she'll go on the sofa behind my head when I'm watching television, and I just reach back and do a few presses with her.
Yep, which I'm sure she's not impressed with.
No, she loves that. Yeah.
Okay.
One of her. No, I'm joking. I'm being sarcastic. She fucking hates it.
Surprise.
Absolutely hates it. Let me say hi to people. K2 is in the Schiphol airport. Why are you in the Schiphol airport? Are you going home? Are you leaving home? Where are you going?
Work or fun?
Yeah, exactly. Work or entertainment.
Because airports are very different places depending on that.
Yeah. Zach and Ack. Good to see
Hello.
you. Ida, of course. Wouldn't be the pub without Ida being here with her
This is
hot
true.
takes. Lee Cat. Good to see you, man. Jerome.
Cohort here in full.
Aslan's here, and as always, ask me about the Tyrant Philosopher series. I do plan to continue it, definitely. I'm in a bit of a reading swamp right now. I have not been not really a slump. It really feels like a swamp. I have been I think I'm also just in a mental swamp at the moment. And that is affecting my reading, and I'm not really reading that much. And what I'm doing now is reading short stories.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, it's a lot lower commitment, and it's like I can just sit down, read one, and I'm done, in 20 minutes or half an hour, an hour.
The mental chemical goodness of finishing stories.
Yeah, also that. Yeah, it's like, okay, I've got a contained thing, and it doesn't feel like I've got a thing I'm neglecting because I'm not reading what I should be and whatever. Anyway, Claudia's here.
Giant books that you've read, it might have something to do with that too.
Possibly. You, Derry, are making Zach and Ack want to pick up Life Ship before he's ready for Life Ships.
Why are you not ready to pick up Life Ships?
Well, probably because he hasn't finished Farseer yet.
Oh, well, in that case, you just have to be patient.
Exactly. I don't know if that's the case, but
in order.
I don't memorize every pub goer's TBR, but yeah, I would imagine that would be why he wouldn't be ready. And look who it is.
It's Anita. Hello.
It's Anita. Good to see you.
Hello, how are you guys? It's been a long time since I joined pub.
It has not been a long time since I invited you to the pub, but it has been a long time since you joined.
I mean, yeah, that is true. This is afternoon. Sunday afternoon is nap time.
I can relate.
Yes.
Yesterday afternoon, I was indeed having a nap. So this is clearly the truest thing you've said this morning.
I've learned the danger of napping on the afternoon when I'm meant to be at the pub in the evening. So I try and avoid them on Sundays. But I think I had a nap yesterday. Yeah.
By the way, Jack already finished Farseer. He's not reading Life Ships because he read Ships of Merrier recently, and it was too much naval fantasy.
Okay. Well, we know that that's not true.
What is it with like naval fantasy is one of the most specific things that I have ever heard people having a problem with. And it's not uncommon. I've heard a lot of people say, I don't really want to read the second Gentleman Bastards book because it's naval fantasy. I'm not sure about Live Ships because it's naval fantasy. It's like, what have you got against boats?
I think it's more about concern about, sometimes if we read similar things, we get into slump, or we want some variety. It's more that case.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
But again, if somebody is feeling the call of Live Ships, clearly they're ready. They're not too much because they're thinking, oh, I might like to read that. In which case, obviously, I encourage you wholeheartedly to pick up Live Ships.
Yes. Yeah, when you're ready for naval fantasy, it's, first of all, not really. I mean, I actually grew up sailing with my dad, so I know a lot of the jargon, and I spent a lot of time on sailboats. And Live Ships is not, if you're afraid of that kind of stuff, it's not really overly nautical, even though a lot of it has to do with ships and happens on ships. It's not super nautical. Like they're not on a ship the whole time, and it's not telling you about the mainsail and the jib and the different ropes and all that sort of stuff.
No, the ship part is really just for having unusual characters and trapping characters in small spaces with each other where they can't escape.
Yeah.
Adding to that. drama for its
Yeah,
voice.
a ship that size is basically a pressure cooker.
Yeah.
Like, there's any kind of stress, the stress is going to escalate
That's right.
unavoidably, because you can't get away from anyone.
That's right.
Like, away is like 20 meters.
Yeah,
That's
you just
that's as away as you can get.
space, and so it adds to the drama when you are reading drama.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, naval fantasy does mean
does mean
pirates.
in this
Arr.
instance as well.
Yeah. Yeah, there are definitely some pirates. So
Yep.
so what is everybody reading? What are you reading, ladies?
Well, I've got surprise, surprise. I have Dungeon Crawler Carl going as my Audible at the moment. Honestly, I'm addicted to the series. I need it. I need meetings, I think. Hello, my name is Dear. Anyway, and I've just
GCC
started.
Anonymous.
I think
Yeah.
at this point you read more than the other.
Could be.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Well,
Quite
I
possibly.
wrote a community post on my channel this week, and I always open them with "Hello, my lovelies." And as I was typing it, I could hear Jeff Hayes, the narrator of Dungeon Crawler Carl, speaking as the game announcer who goes, "Hello, crawlers," and I'm typing this "Hello, my lovelies," and I'm going, "Hello, my lovelies." I'm like, oh my god,
Terry
my
is
own
having
internal narration is now sounding like Jeff Hayes.
I have to tell you, Derry, I watched your gray hair conversation
Philip and
about
yeah.
DCC, and I tried DCC last year sometime
And
on
you bounced.
audiobook.
Yeah.
I didn't bounce off of it. I was actually kind of enjoying it. But two things are difficult with me for audiobooks. One, I'm not working right now, so I don't have a commute.
Yes.
And audiobooking was always my commute thing. Like, I have to stay awake because I'm on a train I have to get off of, and I have to get the next train and whatever.
Yep.
So but I don't need my brain, so I can kind of concentrate on the book,
still be paying
and it
attention.
entertains me while I'm commuting, but I don't commute anymore. So that's one problem. The other problem is Dungeon Crawler Carl made me want to play video games more than it made me want to continue with the story.
Yeah.
But listening to you guys talk about it, I was like, actually, it really does sound like it might be a lot of fun. So I still have it on Audible because I had it back then. So I popped it on. One of you, I think maybe you mentioned that like listening with headphones was a really different experience for you, or maybe it wasn't you, maybe it was one of the other ones. So I was like, okay, I get the Audible app on my Mac. I put on my good headphones. I'll sit back and listen to it. Bam! I fell asleep.
I wasn't expecting that ending to the story.
Well, it wasn't the absolute ending of the story because I listened to like, I think 2 chapters, and then I fell asleep for half a chapter, and then I woke up and I rewound a bit and I listened until the end of like chapter 4, and then I fell asleep and woke up at the beginning of chapter 8, and I was like, whoa, okay, I really did sleep for a bit there. I'm going to keep trying, but maybe I just need to sleep more before I try again. I don't know.
Or eyeball it. There's nothing against eyeballing it.
Yeah, true.
I'm an addict. It's a little worrying, and I'm now starting to think that half sentence that we caught the end of, that's important, because I think it's referring to this other thing. And I'm like, yeah, I'm in. I'm so in when I'm trying. When my brain is making those connections, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm so in.
What are you reading, Anitha?
I just started Song of the Beast by Carol Berg.
Never heard of either the book or the author.
Okay, this is a standalone fantasy about this. I don't know what is it about. Oh, I know there was this guy who was a great singer, but he was arrested, and I think his tongue was cut off. He lost his voice, and after 30 years, so after some years, he's released from that underground. That was the first scene, him coming out and him terrified of that sunlight, that
Yeah.
too much light, burning light. That was the first scene. So
Okay.
I am only into 2 pages, so I can't tell anything about it. But this is something Janny Wets recommended.
Oh, then
So
it'll be great.
yeah,
She's the
I'm
queen of Rex. She knows. She
yeah,
makes some amazing recommendations.
yeah, and I also want to read like more books by 80s and 90s female
Mm.
authors. They're not exactly available. I'm trying to
No,
find
they are
as
hard to
many
get
as
hold of.
possible. This one I found just last month in a used bookstore for $2. It's yellow
Fantastic.
pages.
Have you read any Lois McMaster Bujold?
I read Curse of Chalian earlier
Okay.
this year, and I loved it. With just one book, I know she's going to become my favorite author. And where is the book? Uh,
She's one of those interesting people like Tchaikovsky,
Yeah,
who wrote equally successfully in science
yes,
fiction
that's
and
true.
fantasy.
Paladin of Souls is ready to go
And
as my next book after this.
cool. Yeah, I read those a long time ago. Also, if you're interested in sci-fi by her, there's the Forkozigan
You
saga.
Yes.
clearly did not see my
Um,
book haul stream yesterday. So
ah,
I,
you just got some Forkozigan?
So last month, Mike Mindolin visited Canada, so he got me like four of hardcovers.
Nice, nice, very
Yeah,
cool. I'm
you're
reading
still reading Conan.
Conan.
Where are you now?
Well, it's the complete chronicles, so it's quite a lot. I'm reading it though. I do something that will probably disturb a lot of readers. Other than me breaking the spines of books very intentionally and with glee, I read short stories out of short story collections and anthologies whenever
Yeah.
I want. I don't know if I've ever finished a collection or anthology. I've just sort of like, I want to read that story and maybe I'll read 3 of them and then I'll go to a different one next time and whatever. So I'm doing this one. It's organized in pub order and it's only got short stories in it. Most of Conan is short stories. There was, I think, one novel and the rest is short stories. And it's ordered in publication
Which
order,
isn't chronological order.
which isn't at all chronological. I didn't realize. I mean, like Conan, it's a cultural reference. Like you've got to be aware of Conan at least in the West.
But that
And I've seen the
cultural
movies.
awareness is Arnie, and
Not only. I mean, I'm very aware of the comics, for example, which are much more based on the
okay,
short stories, and I think truer to the short stories in a lot of places. I'm also like my best friend is probably one of the top 10 Conan fans in the world. I started reading it and I was like, so Conan's the king of the most developed nation in the world? Now already in the first story? It's not spoilers. This is like on the first page. Like Apollonia is the most sophisticated, developed, wealthy country in the entire world at that time, and Conan is the king. He came in as a barbarian or worked as a mercenary and became the king. I think basically by murdering the king and a whole bunch of his subjects. And I was like, okay, he's already the king. So I guess in future short stories, we'll be going back in time to when he was a pirate and when he was a thief and when he was a barbarian straight out of the middle of nowhere and all of that sort of stuff. So I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it. But I'll probably just read, I don't know, 4 or 5 or 6 of them.
fair enough.
And then move on to a book again. Let's see, what is everybody else reading? Bunch of people said Rekit read Life Ships 3 months ago. Cool. Almost ready to read 20 Man. 20 Man is the shit.
That means you're literally about to pick up my favorite book of all Time.
Fool's Errand is so good. Oh my god.
If if anyone had told me in the past, before I read Fool's Errand, that you could take two characters and put them in a very small room and have them talk for 200 pages, and that I would enjoy it and actually want to read it, I would be like, nah, it's not going to happen. You can't do that. But Robin
There
Hood
is
did.
so much heart in those 200 pages. You know,
There's so much heart in the 16 books.
Oh,
I mean, like
yeah.
all the way through. There's so much feeling in all of the stuff going on. Jerome is reading Black Company Book 8. She is the Darkness. Have either of you read any Black Company? I mean, I know you haven't read Malazan, but if you at some point read Malazan and you think it's not quite bleak enough for you,
Black Company will fix that.
then you can switch to the Black Company. Yeah, Black Company was written, I think, a decade or something before Malazan, and Stephen Erickson also said it inspired a lot of the military parts
I was
of
told
Malazan.
it's not for me.
I would tend to agree. Knowing you as much as I do, I would not.
It would not be a wreck for any
jump to suggest it for you. Yeah, I really liked it. I've read 5 or 6 of them a long time ago, and I started rereading them.
Alan loves them. So
Yeah,
they're very cool. I mean, especially a lot of people don't, but especially if you do like military fantasy, they are even more focused on the military part than Malazan is, and they're very good. Claudia is stuck on the Name of the Rose because it has thorns. Of course, you're stuck. It doesn't sound like you're enjoying it.
It's like maybe rose down,
yeah,
and pick up a different flower.
I mean, it's meant to be pretty good. I haven't read it, but
and sometimes you're just not in the mood for something. Come back to it when you are. Have a better time.
Yeah. Liket is reading Shadow of the Wind by Carlos Ruiz Zafón.
Nice.
Who I've heard of, but know
I
nothing
read
about.
that book. I think it goes very fast. I read most of the book sitting on the edge of my couch.
Nice.
And it's so, the characters and plot are so intertwined. It's like we get this feeling like that we can't separate them at that time.
Okay.
I mean, it was very, very, it is, I mean, in terms of like, right, talking about women and all, it is little aged, but the rest of that I really liked.
No.
There is that is also something that, like, I have to keep in the back of my head when I'm reading Conan, that it was written in the early 50s, I think, or no, even earlier. It was written before Lord of the Rings, the first stories, so in the 20s, and it's there's a character who appears and he, like, Robert E. Howard just describes him as a black, and there's bits and pieces like that. I mean, he's not throwing like nasty, overt racism at anything
because that
so
wasn't
far.
Considered,
but
hate.
Yeah, it's just like that was the normal way to speak about people who weren't white. If you were white back then, you wouldn't even think about it, and nobody who read it would think about it. Maybe somebody black who read it would have also at the time thought something of it, but yeah, it was just normal. So yeah, I'm waiting. Like, if you read Lovecraft was a flaming racist asshole. Yeah. And if you read Lovecraft, a number of his stories, you just be like, it's a good story about cosmic horror. And then other ones, you're like, he doesn't really like people who aren't white very much, does he? And he was very clear about it in his stories. But Howard doesn't seem to be the case. But you just have to I have to keep reminding myself, this was written a long time ago, 100 years ago, basically. Thornall is planning on reading a series from each of his favorite booktubers next year. In my case, in his case, it's Hyperion. No, you should definitely, for me, you should definitely
Yeah,
read
I'm talking
Hyperion,
about me.
and it will end up
Oh, for
winning
you. Okay.
over every other. Yeah, because that's one of my certainly one of my favorite science fiction anyway. It will win over all other booktubers' favorite series. I guarantee. Because it's pretty awesome. And yes, if you're going to read Hyperion, read all 4 of them. Don't just read the first 2. I know there is a bit of a quality drop because it's like Hyperion is 2 books kind of, and then there's Endymion, which is 2 books, and Endymion isn't as good as Hyperion, but it's still very good, and it gets into some stuff in the world and the story and the development of things from the first books that are just like mind-blowing. It's really, really awesome. Zakanak almost met Carol Berg at Worldcon.
You're waitlisted for a combo session. That's cool.
Fox, yeah, listening to audiobooks while playing video games would actually really not work for me. I mean, I guess it would depend a lot on the game I'm playing. At the moment, I'm playing Helldivers 2, which is just like PTSD in a game. It's like you and 3 friends get thrown down onto a planet and you get overrun by giant bugs and other planets robots and whatever, and you just have to do a lot of shooting and blowing things up, and it's a lot of fun, but it takes all my attention.
That needs some focus.
Yeah, I would not be able to play that and take in an audiobook. That wouldn't work very well. Whoa, I just got really behind. Ida just started Night of the Wolves by S.D. Perry and Britta Dennison. Never heard of any of that. Although Night of the Wolves sounds like a really generic title.
Sorry, as a Hob fan,
Every night is a night of the wolves, actually.
Exactly. If you got the word assassin in there somewhere, it could be a Hob novel. Night of the Assassin Wolves, Night of the Wolf Assassins, or
maybe it is a fan fiction. Who knows?
Maybe. Middle of the Dead Take a Train. And now that is not a generic title.
It was made for you. Title. Oh, I love that. That's amazing.
The Dead take the Dead take the A Train. The A Train. Okay. Is that a zombie novel set in New York? Perhaps. I don't know what it is. Feels like Angel mixed with Jessica Jones and Constantine.
Angel is spin-off of Buffy, right?
Yes, Angel was Buffy's vampire pseudo boyfriend, and he got his own show, which I'm not interested in watching.
Yeah,
was it? Even if you're male,
yeah. They had Charisma Carpenter in it. She's amazing.
Okay, it seemed like the main attraction was that the actor who plays Angel is a very attractive man. And was a kind of a heartthrob back in the day.
Never fancied it. I was always much happier with Spike.
Yeah. So you like the bad boys more than the trying to be good boys, apparently. Hi, Peter. Welcome.
Hey.
Oh, this is Daniel, who's a not online friend. Actually, he's an online friend, but he's an online gaming friend. And he's on Hellmire, which is one of the planets that we've been playing Helldivers 2 on. And Hellmire is, as the name sounds, yes, Hellmire is an absolute nightmare. It's completely covered in really hard to kill bugs, and there are fire tornadoes.
I'm sorry.
How do bugs survive if there are fire tornadoes?
They run away from
if bugs can.
Well, and they also live underground. They burrow.
They're hard to kill.
Yeah. Yeah. The Hellmire is real exciting lately.
I don't don't know. First-person shooter games aren't my thing at all. But the idea of it having to be against bugs as well, no.
They don't. At least they don't look like spiders.
I'd be okay with spiders. I actually quite like spiders. But
have you seen Starship
yes.
Troopers? This game is very much based on Starship
That's what I thought
Troopers.
earlier when you were saying.
And the bugs in the game look very much like the bugs in Starship Troopers. And the whole politics, and I mean, Starship Troopers is basically a satire of a fascist government starting a war. And the game is very much Starship Troopers. It's got all of that and all of the blowing up bugs and all that sort of stuff. It's a lot of fun. Urban fantasy cosmic horror, The Worm and His Kings by Haley Piper.
Apparently, Cronk's urban fantasy series is really good.
Which?
Michael Cronk, the book guy, the Immortal something. I wrote it down, but I've put my journal.
I keep whenever someone says urban fantasy, I always think of Charles DeLint. And I don't hear anyone talking about Charles DeLint.
I read The Little Country by him years ago, and it was just so unique.
Yeah.
Jake.
And he's got a whole
Bishop,
series.
Jake
whole
Bishop
series
read
of
a couple
books.
of his books recently, and he's a fan.
Okay. Yeah. Dreams Underfoot, I think, is one of them. And
17.
Yeah. He's got a whole bunch of them, and they're not exactly all connected, but they're all set in the same
city.
Kind of location, some of the same characters, and it's much more like
he's close to magical.
I would say actually I would call it rural fantasy because most of his stuff takes place in small towns and farmland and not in a big city. It's not Dresden and Chicago.
It's also incredibly magic. The where I've read it, when the magic is being magic, it's beautifully magic. There's no doubting that no magic is happening. There's magic.
I think he's Canadian.
Soft magic.
Could be. Somebody in the chat, look it up. Is Charles DeLint Canadian?
Yeah, we recently found his books in a used bookstores when Mandolin was here.
Okay. Yeah. Zakanak also says Jake Bishop and Durfee. Durfee reads everything though. Like, especially if it's old.
He read reasonably recently. He read Mercedes Lackey, one of my I love. And I was like, oh, what did he think about it? And I watched his reviews and I was like, he loved it. Yay. So yeah, I was happy about it.
I think I read every time you mention Mercedes Lackey, I know I've read something by her, but it was a really long time ago.
She's hugely prolific.
And she wrote a million books, but
she does an urban fantasy with elves who are racing car drivers. And it's cool. Okay. She has another series where she has a busker who's actually incredibly magically powerful with music. Sometimes he's still learning how to dig into it. That was how that series started. I quite liked that series. Then she's got a whole series that's in a different reality fantasy world where bards are genuinely magic. And
what do you mean different reality fantasy world? Fantasy means different reality.
Because the one I'm talking about before with the bard who's...
The other ones are like our world with some magic in it.
And the race car driver elves is based in our world. So,
right. Yeah. But she means like a different series with a completely secondary world. Yeah.
Because she how she keeps all of these worlds separate, I have no idea. Because she writes so much in all of them. How does she?
It's interesting. I mean, maybe this is just a thing in my head and not actually a thing in reality, but I somehow have the feeling that there used to be a lot more authors, like in the 60s, 70s, 80s, who wrote very prolifically, and every second thing they wrote was a different thing.
There's collaboration.
You know, like CJ Cherry. CJ Cherry was also like kind of back and forth between sci-fi and fantasy, and she had Pern, and she had the Chandler books, and she had Crystal Singer, and like all of these things that were just all over the place.
Anne McCaffrey wrote the Crystal Singer, because that's the trilogy.
Oh, right.
But they co-wrote a lot of stuff with each other.
Yeah.
There was a really collaborative feel in fantasy at the time. So many books are collaborations. It's kind of awesome because you can get a feel for, your main author, and when they co-write with someone else, you get a slightly different flavor, and you're like, I quite like that slightly different flavor, and you can go, oh, just read this one. I haven't read Castle of Deception.
Speaking of collaborations,
she writes with so many people. Piers Anthony, James Mallory, just off the top of my head, she did one with Anne McCaffrey. She did a Brainship book with Anne McCaffrey. So many.
I think I've only ever read one collaboration. I'm really interested how authors do it. The one collaboration I wrote is also one of the worst books I've read in the last few years. In the Shadow of Their Dying, which was written by
Michael R. Fletcher and
the Brass Sword
Anna
woman.
Smith Spark.
Anna Smith Spark, yeah, the two of them, and that book at least was really, really clearly. He wrote this chapter, she wrote that chapter, he wrote this chapter, she wrote that chapter. Maybe they did some editing together over the whole thing, I don't know. But like there was one character who was a demon, and she wrote the interior monologue of the demon. And it was really clear just from their writing style, the prose style, this is her and this is him. And her prose style was actually awesome for the demon. And his style, I will never read anything he's ever written.
Oh,
ever
okay.
Again.
Wow.
Oh my God, it was so bad. It was so bad.
I look at it, I think Terry Pratchett co-wrote Good Omens with Neil Gaiman. And that was my introduction to Neil Gaiman. And from there I went in and I watched, I read Sandman, which they've adapted really beautifully. Because what I loved about Terry Pratchett was very visible in Good Omens, but there was never a clear line whether or not it was he or Gaiman that had written a specific thing. And the whole thing felt slightly different. And I liked the slightly different. And I was like, okay, well, I think I like that flavor. And it was just a really nice way to introduce you to other authors.
I mean, it's not that cool to be involved with Neil Gaiman anymore. But before I realized what he was doing in his free time, I found him a very, very interesting and personable kind of guy. And I saw a lot of interviews with him, and there was an interview where he specifically talked about that, because the interview was mostly about remembering Terry Pratchett. I mean, it was after Terry Pratchett died.
Very eloquently at the time about things. Yeah.
Yeah, and he spoke about how they wrote together, and it was kind of hilarious.
Floppy disks and.
Well, and also he said that Pratchett would like call him at 2 a.m. and go, "It's got to be like this. We got to change that," and just like order him to do things. And he was like, "Of course, you're Terry Pratchett. I'll do."
And at the same time, there are portions of the book that when they were both being interviewed back in the day, neither of them remembered who wrote it. They each thought the other had written that bit. And I find that incredibly fascinating, that they can each go, well, I didn't write those words. That doesn't feel like me. But clearly together, they created something separate that was them together.
Yeah.
And that comes across in Good Omens. It's one of the better collaborations I've read. In terms of, it feels very even. You can't tell who wrote which bit.
I agree with Rika. Rykert, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong. Windhaven was just brilliant.
Ricard. Yeah.
I mean,
Have not
it
read it.
was. I mean, I love the simplicity of it. How they broach the important subject and leave it to our conclusions without providing any solutions. Just showed how society works, how society does not accept breaking the traditions, how people react to any change. I really liked, and it was very well done, the collaboration.
Nice. And that, of course, leads you to then go, what else has Lisa Tuttle written? And, you're off down that avenue. I just think it's a fantastic
Yeah.
way to find new authors.
Ida says Anna Smith Spark is brilliant. From this book that I ended up hating, the only part of it I liked was the part that Anna Smith Spark very, very clearly wrote. The things that made me hate it were very clearly Fletcher, not her. And it's the first time I've been really interested in this since I started getting into Adrian Tchaikovsky, because he's kind of known for writing bizarre perspectives, aliens and stuff like that, and aliens that are alien. They don't feel like people with blue skin. They actually have totally different minds, and some of them are even like in the final architecture. A lot of the aliens in the final architecture are incomprehensible. Like nobody in the book understands them, and you don't understand them. And I find that really interesting because for a long time, I guess in the tradition of Star Trek, aliens are humans with bumps on their heads or humans with blue or green skin, and most of them are not particularly alien.
No, because
to the point where Captain Kirk flirts with the female of the species, and they have a blurry love scene, and it's like she's just a green girl, but Anna Smith Spark wrote the demon in this thing, and it's all interior. It's just the demon thinking. The basic setup is there's a fantasy walled city that's under siege, and the besieging army manages to release a demon in the city as a distraction for their big attack, something like that. And the demon is wandering around. It's kind of under orders. It's got some sort of deal that it has to abide by, but it also wants to do what it wants to do. And the interior monologue of it was so weird and at times confusing, which I didn't mind at all, because I was like, a demon's not human. Like, of course it's going to be weird. I thought that was really, really good.
That sounds interesting.
Aku, the Razor and the Hook, and a Captain Kirk romance. I'm pretty sure that Aku, the Razor and the Hook.
I can't even imagine it. No, please no.
I can't imagine Aku, the Razor and the Hook romancing anyone. I mean, I have a hard time even imagining how their species does that, if they do that. Maybe they reproduce asexually. Yeah, he'd find a way.
He is clearly irresistible to aliens of all kinds. Let's be honest.
Yeah. No, but Ida, I'm just talking about the trend. Especially in early Star Trek, they didn't have a whole lot of budget for anything other
Next
than
Generation, where they literally wrote a plot in that said we were seeded by, a more advanced humanoid species, and that of course everybody developed.
I mean, one of my favorite all-time favorite any Star Trek episodes is Darmok and Jalad at Tanagra.
Which one?
In The Next Generation, where Captain Picard has to sort of figure out how an humanoid alien, but an alien race, how they actually communicate. And they only communicate in kind of metaphoric phrases.
I remember that one, yes.
Yeah. they have phrases that mean a certain thing, but don't make any sense if you don't know what the phrase is meant to mean.
That was a really fascinating episode. I quite liked that one as well.
Yeah, Damakan Gelada Tanagra means a historical event where two enemies got together and made peace in the history of this alien race species, and that the alien is basically saying, let's be friends, kind of, but it's incomprehensible for a large part of the part of the
because
episode.
Without that shared history, you have no context for the words.
Well, and they only speak in these phrases. They don't have a way to say, like, hi, how you doing? They have a phrase which would suggest that, but it's all cultural reference stuff. Shaka when the walls fell. Yes, exactly. That was also one of their phrases. Sokath's eyes uncovered. Yeah. Okay. We've got some Star Trek nerds in the chat. We have
clearly found our people.
Yeah. Why am I not surprised? Yeah. Not a Star Trek fan, Anitha?
I mean, I watched a couple of movies, that's all. I know the context and the characters, but I don't know beyond that, and I wasn't obsessed with it.
The movies. There have been some good Star Trek movies, but they almost don't count.
They're treated as a very separate thing. There's Star Trek.
I like a lot of the movies. Khan!
I have a hot take. I actually really liked Nemesis, which a lot of people don't. And I don't know if it's because it had a really young Tom Hardy, because he was really good in Nemesis. I like Nemesis.
I even like the reboot movies. I like the reboot
movies because they've cast very cleverly. They've got really good actors who suit.
I think those are the ones I watched. Benedict Cumberbatch as
was Kirk.
Kirk.
No, and Mickey the Idiot was in that one. So yay. Sorry.
Cumberbatch as Khan. Yeah, not Kirk. What's his face? Is Kirk?
Even I forgot.
And the spot casting was also
me when I went
good.
to see that in the theaters, because when Mickey the Idiot showed up, I wasn't the only one who went, Mickey the Idiot! And and then I thought, okay, that was embarrassing. Because
Dama Congelada Tanagra is one of the reasons that I hate the recent Picard series.
Okay.
Because Dama Congelada Tanagra was to me, it was one of the best Captain Picard bits. It was really it was primarily a Picard episode, and it was just Patrick Stewart's awesome, or at least he used to be.
He's been down by writing. Let's be honest. When he's
but also so much of the new Picard series, when I was watching it, I was like, can you just let him retire?
Yeah, they've made him look so very old. Yeah.
He's really old, and like it's painful watching him get up from a chair.
That's what fascinates me, because he's really active on social media, and he's not old and decrepit. He's active, and he's into a lot of stuff, and he's vibrant and energetic. So it's clearly a deliberate choice to have him be this haggard, weary, weighed down person. I find that fascinating. I haven't watched it because I don't have that subscribing service, but I still see the ads and I see the way it's being shot. And First Contact with the Borg Queen is amazing. Alice Krieger, just mind-bogglingly awesome. She was.
The Borg are a very, very cool
is it that
alien.
Borg can be sexy.
And sexy of 9.
But she became more sexy when she was
It brought her into the show.
She wasn't usually sexy when she was Borg.
Yes.
It's funny though, because one of my one of my family friends, and that she's my sister's best friend, comes from a really large family, and she is 7 of 9. And when she told me that, I was like, "Oh my god, that's the coolest thing ever!" And she was like, "Huh? What?" I'm like, "You are so not a nerd." And she was like, "No idea what you're talking about." And I had to explain to her why being 7 of 9 was so very cool. And yeah,
Judging by Anitha's face, she is also not a nerd.
No.
She's just like,
Star Trek, I don't care.
whatever.
I mean,
I don't know what you're talking about.
you can go ahead and talk about it.
It's all
I
good.
just, I don't know. Maybe
Not for you. What's your nerd thing? What's your
I'm
story
not a
anyway?
nerd.
Like
Right?
you're Indian and you're in Canada. Where did you grow up in
South
India?
India.
Okay. Goa south or
Goa is west. South India is
well west
you
south?
wouldn't know, but south is like my state is Andhra Pradesh. Um,
I know where Andhra Pradesh is.
it's
I haven't been there,
just
but
above Tamil Nadu. Tamil Nadu is most famous.
okay.
Chennai is most famous.
Yeah.
Just about that.
Yeah. I've certainly heard of those. I haven't been. I don't think I've been further south than Delhi.
Delhi is
Actually, most of my
north.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I like most of my traveling because it was Buddhist traveling was in North India.
Usually,
and
Buddhism
Nepal.
is popular in only north. South, it's not that popular.
Yeah. And in India, it's not that popular anywhere. Like everywhere I went was mostly
Not
Hindu.
in northeast,
But then you
at
get up,
least
you
you
get up
see some
into
monks and those monasteries. Oh my
monasteries.
God, I can't. Never mind.
Monasteries.
But in south, at least as far as I know, there are none.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny when I got to Nepal, it took me about a week to figure it out, but like everyone in Nepal is Hindu, but they're actually Buddhist. And they all act like if you just look around visually, everyone's Hindu. Like saris and the thing on the forehead of the women, and like it looks just like India as far as how the people dress and sort of the surface customs. And then I started talking to them as a Buddhist, and they were like, yeah. And they knew everything I was talking about. They practiced the same stuff I did and everything. And I was like, I thought you said you were Hindu. And they were like, yeah. I was like, but everything you're talking about is Buddhist. And they're like, yeah.
Actually, yeah, but many people consider Buddhism was part of Hinduism because it took a lot of inspiration from there. They don't see the difference other than they.
It's different. It's different in Nepal though, because Nepal was invaded by India, like long time ago, and they took on all of the cultural trappings of Hinduism, but continued practicing Buddhism to the point where
indistinguishable. Yeah.
It's like what you don't see is Hindu temples. Very few Hindu temples. There's a lot of Buddhist monasteries. There's Buddhist stupas, and there's all the Buddhist stuff. And everyone says they're Hindu because they had to for hundreds of years, so they do. And it's like they've been painted Hindu, but they're on the inside they're actually Buddhists. It's weird. It's different than India though. In India, I know that Hindus are basically like Jesus, Buddha, anybody is all part of our pantheon. You go in a Indian religious shop where they sell paintings of the gods, and they'll have Ganesha and all of the Hindu pantheon and Jesus and Buddha painted in the same style, and that was also bizarre to me. I was like, but Buddha was a Hindu who stopped doing Hinduism. Like, no, just bring it all in, which I think is cool.
It was cool.
And when did you go to Canada?
2019.
Okay, so
Yeah,
not that long
just
ago.
yes, just before COVID.
Oh
Because
wow.
of course,
Okay.
being in a new country and not knowing anybody is a great time to be in lockdown. That must have sucked so
Yeah.
hard to not know anyone and not be able to go and actually make connections with anybody. I feel awful.
Yeah, the toughest thing that time was my parents and my sister got COVID. I need to
Oh
be there,
no.
but I'm stuck here. So flights
Oh
were
no.
closed. So I was out on the first flight when they opened. I mean,
Yeah,
I had to
Yeah.
get it checked. I had to fill so many forms, but I was on the first flight out,
yeah.
and
Usually.
Yeah.
it was the
Uh,
worst flight I had been. Oh my god, because they just started flights, right, and they're
Yeah.
still following all those hygiene rules, everything. So then they weren't like exactly serving food. I mean, they did provide food, but that was like horrible, inedible, and there wasn't enough water. We have to wear mask for 15 hours entire flight. Oh
Ugh.
my god, and it
yeah.
was hot, horrible flight.
Oh,
I flew to Australia shortly after COVID, and it was exactly the same thing. It was like I was prepared. I brought a lot of my own food. I brought like protein bars and all sorts of snacks and stuff because I was like, I'm sure
it'll
it's
be
going to be a
mm,
garbage flight. And yeah, mask the whole way, 14 hours and then another 10 hours, and yeah, that wasn't
right.
fun.
Yeah,
But your husband's not Indian, is he?
he is. I mean, he's
Yes.
Canadian now, but he was Indian.
Why did I think he wasn't? I don't
No,
know. Apologies.
yeah, he is Indian.
Yeah, getting a new passport doesn't take the Indian out of
No.
you,
No.
I
I
think. I mean, I assume I've never been Indian or
I think
Canadian.
not for many people, but at least for me, maybe my husband too.
You think it took the
No,
Indian
it
out
did
of
not.
you?
I
Oh,
I
it did not. Okay.
feel like very much
Yeah.
100% Indian.
Yeah.
I
There's
was going to
a very
say,
high
like, my impression of you is
population in New
like
Zealand, I have to say, and the Indian
you could be
culture is
calling us from
very
India.
present. You know, it's yeah, it's very present.
Yeah, but most of my friends, suppose there is a friend of mine here, her husband did his master's here. So he came as a student, but she came after her marriage.
Yeah,
So, but they are like, I mean, obviously her husband has classmates who are Canadians and who are from different countries. They embraced the culture more. Like
yeah.
they finished dinner by 4. I was like, what? This is snacks time. We have dinner at 9 p.m. She was like, Anita, in Canada we sleep dinner at 4. By 7 or 8 we sleep. I was like, what?
Dinner at
Yeah.
4?
Was-
Is it because the light is different there because the um
I
latitude?
don't know. Yeah,
Who has dinner at
I
Oh,
mean,
4?
usually because they're in bed
I
by 7.
I am a night.
I mean, if you live in a farm, I understand. Like if you like, I did a meditation retreat on a mountain out in the middle of fucking nowhere by myself for 3 months, and I automatically
Yeah,
adjusted to the light because I didn't have electric lights. So I started getting up at 5 in the morning because that's when the sun came up, and I would start going to bed at 7 or 8 at night because it was dark and I couldn't do
See,
anything.
toughest thing for me
But
to adapt in terms of culture is this timings. Because first of all, I am a night owl, and I came from a city where nightlife was excellent. We get everything, all food stalls open, street food open
yeah.
throughout the
Open.
night,
yeah,
and there is so much crowd outside. And we get these food delivery apps. We get delivered until 3 a.m.
Yeah.
in the middle of the night. And here, everything closes by 9 p.m. And we can't order
Wow.
anything actually after 8:30.
You
Everything is
actually
like
have to
closed,
leave.
closed, closed. It's like, what? It was the toughest thing for me.
I remember that from being in India, in Varanasi or all of the places I was. You'd go out on the street at like 11 and it'd be packed. There'd be food stalls everywhere, people walking all over the place, busy on the street if you knew the right place to go. And like we would usually like sleep in the afternoon because it was damn hot, and then get up at like 7, maybe have a shower, dress up a bit, and then go out, and you'd be out until 1 in the morning, and there'd still be like shit going on, not like Canada, apparently. You should come to Berlin. Berlin doesn't shut down at 9.
Ah, that's amazing. That would be amazing. My biggest complaint about Canada is that actually timings, that shutting everything out down is like closing. Everything closes by like 9. That is, I cannot wrap my brain around that.
Where in
Toronto.
Canada are you? Toronto. Okay. And even in Toronto, I mean, I have no real picture of Toronto,
Maybe
but I know it's like a city,
I mean, I'm
you know.
sure there are areas where, especially like like Brampton, Mississauga, where Indian crowd is more. I heard that there are things that are open late
Yeah.
into the night, like 10,
Okay.
11. But here where I live, everything closes.
Not so much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, here where I live, I guess probably, I mean, I can get delivery until midnight anyway, but most of the things right around where I live, because I live in a very quiet area, are definitely closed. But there's definitely places in Berlin, large places in Berlin, and many of them that are like nightlife starts at 1 in the morning, and goes on until, oh my God, is the sun up, Yeah, India. It was a very interesting experience. It's just so different for well, not even that. Like, forget that. Yes, it is very full. That does make a huge difference. But like for a white guy who's just lived in, at that point, America and Australia, very white places, going to India was just like, I met a lady who'd been there for years, an American lady who'd been there for years. And I met her in my first week, and she said, oh yeah, if you're coming from the West, 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks in India is way too much. And then if you stay longer than 2 weeks, 2 weeks wasn't nearly enough. Because it's just like the first couple of weeks, it's just overwhelming. Like everything smells completely differently, and very often not very pleasant. But some places really pleasant, and the colors and the people and just the things that everybody thinks are normal are surprising constantly.
Everything turned up to 11, I'm guessing.
Yeah, not only that, just different. Like I went in, I couldn't sleep one day. I got up early. I was walking around. I like to take a lot of photos, so I was photographing all over Varanasi. And I went into the first shop I saw that was open, and the guy was sort of setting up his shop, and it was a religious stuff kind of shop with statues and pictures and all that sort of stuff. And I was actually looking for a nice little Buddha, and I didn't really find one because it was all kind of cheap stuff, and I wanted a nice Buddha statue. But I thought, as a memory, I got a really small Ganesha, and I took it to the guy, and he said, "For you, no cost." I said, "What?" He said, "Good luck. First customer of the day. Good luck. Ganesha, and he had a big Ganesha statue behind him because it's like the god of commerce and merchants and trade and whatever. He said, "Ganesha blessing on my shop."
Oh,
I was like, are you being serious? Like everybody else I've met in your country was trying to rip me off or begging or both, you know? And he was like, no, serious, you take. I was like, okay.
confused.
Yeah, people
Thank
really
you.
believe that. At least most of the people really believe that first customer thing, and they do that, or they at least reduce price.
Yeah, he just outright gave it to. I mean, it was
Yeah.
a small thing that, like, that's the other thing. You get used to thinking in rupees, and somebody says like 600 rupees, and you think, damn, that's a lot, and then you think, actually, it's 50 cents. Like, it's not that much. Yeah. So I mean, it was something that didn't cost much, but still, nobody in the West would ever do that anywhere. Never. So I said at the beginning of the stream that I wanted to do some sprints.
All right. I was going to use my Kindle, but I went to read from it just before we went live, and it went, I've got no power. I'm like, oh, okay. I won't be using you then because you're going to be over there.
Need to get a large charging cord.
Well, I do have a
long
large charging cord. Oh, but I'm currently using it to power my light. So yeah. Because
What saves my life all the time? I have a power bank. It's basically just a battery that's
Nice.
this big, and you can plug cables
that's
into
how
it,
power banks work.
so you can charge it and then charge other things with it. And when I'm playing on the PlayStation and my controller starts running out, I plug it in really quick. Or if I'm reading on a Kindle, I
do
plug it
have
in
a
really
power
quick.
bank, but it's
Awesome.
in the storage cupboard out the back because I didn't realize that I was going to need it to charge my Kindle because I'm usually much more organized than that. Because OCD. But so it came as a
Hi, Ursa made it. D&D
that's
made
a good
her
reason
late.
to be late. Is your character still alive?
D&D's fun. Yeah. Nobody
Did you get any
died.
good loot?
We had a game on Friday. Not D&D, but
Nice.
role-playing game. Very similar to D&D, called Dragon Bane. So why don't we read until 10:15?
Eh?
2:45.
Okay.
Won't be 10 for everyone, but 2:45 the next hour.
Sounds good.
Cool. And don't forget to turn your microphones off. Hello. We are back. How was everybody's reading? I hope it was wonderful. Reading good stuff. And we have new guests.
Who else is here?
Someone who hasn't been on the pub in a long time, but was for a while on the pub all the time. Hi, Brittany.
Hi, Britton.
Hello.
Hello.
How you doing?
Doing all right, just chilling.
And everybody's favorite booktube Santa.
Evie, I know. The minute you said everybody's favorite, I know.
We're all smart here.
How you doing? How is it? How's Borderlands 4?
So funny enough, we have not played it. So, because I've been playing Hollow Knight all morning.
Oh, you're a bit behind the sort of sequel to Hollow
Yeah,
Knight.
I didn't even
is
know
out.
Hollow Knight was a thing until my best friend told me that Silk Song came out. I'm like, what the hell is Silk Song? And she's like, it's the sequel to Hollow Knight. And I'm like, what the hell is Hollow Knight? She's like, it's kind of like Hades. I'm like, sold. Immediately bought it.
It's kind of like Hades, but
Yeah,
horizontal.
and also
yeah,
so much harder. Oh my god.
Hollow Knight is a
And
tough
apparently
game.
Silk Song is
It's-
harder. So,
Yeah, and it's got lots of what I liked about it. I'm not good at those, like hand-eye coordination games so much. I mean, I used to be, but then I got old. And the part of Hollow Knight that I really liked was there's a lot of little story bits in it, and there's a lot of interesting sort of puzzle stuff in it. And that stuff I can still do quite well. But yeah, I'm curious about Silk Song. There were parts of Hollow Knight where I was like, I don't know if I can make it through this. So if Silk Song is harder, I don't know if I will be playing it.
What?
oh, Lapona.
What's that?
Thank you.
What have you got?
No, Mitch, that is not possible. I'm sorry for interrupting.
Listen, if he finishes it before you, just saying.
I mean, he will finish it before me. That is for sure, because he already started book 3. I have to start book 2, and he is a faster reader than me. But no, it is not possible.
I think Mitch has a point,
No.
really.
No. By the way, Evie,
I mean, if he's read Abraham books that you haven't, I think he's automatically a bigger fan than you.
No,
There is no bigger fan. There is just a passion.
I will cry. I will literally cry.
Emotional attachment is really what's being debated.
Yeah.
Reading
It's like
speed
someone
isn't-
trying to. I'm sorry. It's like someone trying to challenge Derry on her Robin Hood
I
knowledge.
know, right? Yeah, exactly, Britton. Thank you for understanding.
Or
I will cry.
someone challenging me on Spear Cuts Through Water, which, by the way,
Yes.
Matt.
Oh,
Is that
that's the
a
art that's on the inside of the
signed
cover.
print?
Yeah.
It is. It's the
Signed
map.
by the artist.
Wow.
I am already deeply
nice.
hurt that Mitch is reading Tyrant's Law already. Deeply,
I got
deeply,
hard.
deeply hurt. I'm not saying anything because he's not going to care, but I am hurt.
Evie, your position as a Spear Cuts Through Water, the Spear Cuts Through Water fan, the preeminent Spear Cuts Through Water fan, is absolutely solid, even without you having a signed print
Yeah.
of the map, because you made by yourself single-handedly the hardcover sell out. So
It's true.
Yeah.
I-
and you sent it to like half of everyone on BookTube.
I have
So-
evidence, by the way, that I literally made the guy's day by bringing in the print. So
By what?
By bringing in the print, I made Chris Panettier's day. That's what he said. So he's like, no one's ever brought in my art before or this map, and I'm like,
What do you mean brought in?
You have to give
Where'd
the
you bring it
context,
in?
TV.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, so there was a book fair, a spooktastic book fair in a couple towns over from me, and Chris Panettiere was there because he's an author.
Oh, cool.
And I was like, I gotta get this map signed.
That map is gorgeous.
So
It's
I brought
cool.
it in. He's like, no one's ever had me sign a map. Like, no one's ever brought in my artwork, let alone this map. And I'm
That's
like,
very cool.
Where did you get a print of it, or did you have a
I
print made of
literally had a
it,
print
or
made, and I
what?
told him, I was like, I tried to see if I could get a print from your art site, like art shop or whatever.
Yeah.
And there, like, it was not posted, so I had to like just go to like one of those rinky-dink online print things.
Sure.
And so he actually said,
Yeah.
he's like, I should put that up on my print shop, and I'm like, good.
You should. It's a fucking awesome
And I
map. Like every fantasy thing I've ever read that had a map, because I'm into design, I start by looking at the quality of the map and the style and whatever, and I appreciate that. But then after that, all I'm doing is going, where is this? Reference, flip back to where I'm reading. But that map, I was constantly just staring at it because there's so many millions of little amazing details in it. Bizarre shit.
He
really
actually he showed me the raw file, and he's like, look at all these layers, and he's like, he pulls up Procreate or whatever, which is how he drew it.
Oh,
And
shit.
He
Okay.
pointed out something I didn't even realize. He's like, did you notice this little city? And if I can get it here.
Yeah. I saw
Yeah, the
city in
little
there.
and it blew my mind. I was like, holy,
on the back
Yeah.
of the turtle.
and I'm like, oh my
Yeah.
god. The little itty bitty details. It's amazing.
Yeah, there's, I mean, in the bottom right corner, there's little ships, and I mean, there's just like amazing detail all over the place. It's really, really cool.
Evie, you would like this. Daniel Abraham, I mean, I am not exactly sure how many pets he has. At least he has 2 dogs, which I have seen. And they recently rescued another dog, and his wife is volunteers or runs wildlife rescue shelter. They have around 28 pigeons. And there are so
You say
many.
pigeons?
Yes, pigeons. And I told him, like, you should post this in social media, people would be very interested. And he was like, yeah, then people also will be like willing to adopt some, that will also solve it. I mean, he was so cute.
That is very cool, Zakanak. I'd love to just meet Robin Hobb. I have no idea what I would say to her. I mean, I have a channel. I think about this all the time. I have a channel, and I've done interviews with authors. And my favorite fantasy author is Stephen Erickson, and I am way too nervous to try and do an interview with him. Even though he's the
Friendly to
nicest guy.
booktubers and comes on.
He's super friendly to booktubers, and he's always polite and cool and answers all the questions and everything. But it's just like, I can't imagine trying to have a smart conversation with anyone as smart as
The
him.
very idea of possibly even speaking to Robin Hobb makes my brain completely shut down.
As evidence.
I mean, just
Like if I met like Marlon James or I don't know.
what would I even say that wouldn't make me sound completely insane?
Jeff Vandermeer. That's probably better. Well, people know who that is.
Know who Marlon James is.
At least,
too.
well, yeah. No.
If only because you've spoken about him over and over and over again.
Yeah, I've been shouting into the clouds about
I've never
that for a while.
never read anything by him.
Gary,
but-
did you see my post?
I did not.
The Kickstarter things finally came in.
It.
Oh, they got
great,
nice
great.
additions on
Nice.
Kickstarter.
Nice.
Oh, exciting.
I've been very consciously avoiding the book publishing part of Kickstarter because I'm already way too deep into the board games part of Kickstarter. And the last thing I need is I've got like 5 games I've funded that I haven't got yet and 5 books. So yeah. Oh, and role-playing games. I've also got role-playing games on
Real
Kickstarter.
quick, Zach,
so
like at the same time they went to the same school?
I don't think so.
I don't know how old
he
or
doesn't
young.
say the same time. He just says
No,
they went to the same
that's
school.
why I'm asking for clarification.
But
So-
I mean, I have a question. How did that conversation come up? Like, where did you go to school?
The first thing he asked her was, "Where did you go to school?" "Hi, Robin Hood. I've been wanting to meet you for years. Where did you go to
Because
school?"
Or maybe that just,
No,
hey,
I-
I'm in Alaska.
Yeah, exactly. I'm from this place that she was familiar with, and so
I
on.
went to the same
I
high
don't know.
school as Olivia Munn, who some might know is being married to John Mulaney.
She's also an
I have not
artist.
read that. I've wanted to read more of Joe Hill's stuff. I just haven't gotten around to it.
I went to high school with and the high school of many people from embassies and the CIA.
I have no such claim to fame, but I can get on a bus and in 3 stops get off and walk down the path where Frodo and the other hobbits first encountered them. Right?
You have
That's
a
true. You
superior
live in the
claim,
fucking
then.
Shire.
Well, so yeah, you live in you just every time you
Yeah.
walk out in the morning, the Shire theme just starts playing.
Pretty much.
Exactly. You live in
And
Middle Earth. That's a
I
pretty
would
good
go
claim to fame.
At Middle Earth. And I do have a really impressive view. So, yeah.
Speaking of windows, how's your bird friends doing?
They're really good. They're enjoying the fact that the days are getting a little bit longer and that flowers are starting to bud because they're doing amazing aeronautics at the moment. They are showing off outside like you would not believe. The stunt flying is impressive. And they're really loud because they're feeling themselves at the moment. They're feeling themselves.
Is
And I
that
went-
one bird still
last month.
like demanding apples?
No, they're just loud all the time. But yes, they do come and demand apple. When I went and visited my sister last month, and I was away for 4 days, and I'm pretty sure they had a scout waiting because I got home and within 5 minutes, 4 of them swooped in and were like, "Hi, you're back." Is there apple?"
She's got apple. She's got apple.
And it made me feel very important that I literally hadn't even opened my bag to take out my slippers. And yeah, all the parrots were there.
I've got to go back to this comment by Thornall. I now know what I will ask Robin Hobb if I ever meet her. The first thing I will say is, "Why do you hate my cat?"
You know, my friend Jordan did a
And
review.
she will look at me in confusion.
My friend Jordan did a review
Go ahead.
yesterday of I think it was The Assassin's Apprentice.
Yeah.
And I was like, I might check it out. I'm trying to take a break from epic fantasy at the moment, so it's probably going to take a while.
It's not typical epic fantasy.
Not in any way.
No, it is epic and it is fantasy, but it's not what you would expect from.
It's much
epic
quieter
fantasy.
than most epic fantasy.
Yes.
I do like,
Yes. It doesn't follow any of the typical formulas.
even though it has all of the typical
Not really.
tropes.
Yeah.
Edith saying that no bird sings if there are predators about. There are literally no native predators in New Zealand. Every predator that lives here that's
Yeah.
a threat to our creatures came with white people.
I was
And-
about to say it was because the white people showed up and shot all of them. But never mind.
Well, no.
Right.
No, they brought
They brought
things
all the
with them.
predators.
The warrior to eat.
It's the same in Australia, except Australia is full of things that
But
want to
that's
kill
why
you.
we get some of the
And
most
back in-
amazing birds. And you can probably find it on YouTube. You can look up morning bird song at Zealandia, which is the bird sanctuary literally on the other side of the hill where I live. And it is amazing to listen to the bird song. And it's just like that every morning. And then, most of that occasionally through the day. It's kind of cool. the bird song. So, yeah, kind of awesome, Ida. Kind of awesome.
Yeah, I've heard it's more like an intimate character study than a like traditional epic fantasy. I don't know if Derry would agree with that because she's like.
I mean, there's definitely fights and stuff, and there is magic and stuff like that happens, but it's totally different in most ways from most of what you would call
It
epic
has all the
fantasy.
tropes, but not in ways you expect.
Yeah.
So you will get a trope, you'll read it, and you'll think, I know what will now happen because this is how this trope plays out, and that is not, in fact, how the trope will play out.
I would argue, if anything, the Fitz books, especially the first year trilogy, is just a psychological study.
Mm.
Yeah.
In the guise of a fantasy series.
Of a very traumatized young man.
Yeah.
I was about to say he's like a illegitimate baby, right? So I bet he's got plenty of angst, you know.
He was given away and handed over and treated as chattel, and believes that he has no value. And it's
It's kind of sad.
It is sad, and you know, sad
and
boy
he
face.
internalized
Wait, which
that.
aspect of Assassin's Apprentice is such an inside joke? Zach in Alaska. Is it the sad boy stuff, the depression?
No, I think what does
Oh,
Hope
got
have
it. Oh,
against
okay,
dogs,
got it.
that aspect.
What do people just like go out of their way to shoot dogs or something? And
You have to read it. There's
oh, okay.
we're not
Yeah.
gonna
I don't mean to laugh. I mean bring dogs.
Oh, we
Yeah.
all want that. Oh, so badly.
Yeah. Yeah, novels with her as a POV
More
would
patience
be very,
would be
very
amazing.
cool.
You know,
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
I would
She's
read
great.
entire series with just Patience and do English regular stuff. Patience and her, what is that old lady's name?
Lacey.
Lacey, yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I read Gardens of the Moon. I was like, all right, I'm gonna chill out with fantasy for a minute.
So how do you feel now about the Malazan Book of the Fallen?
Well, so far I was bewildered. Is that a good word? I think that's a good.
Yes.
Word.
That is an appropriate word, I think.
I was
yeah.
like, what is this? Yeah, no. Krupp is great. I like Krupp a lot. He's a fun character.
See, now I know officially I'm allowed to stay friends with you. All Malazan fans are divided into people who love Krupp and people who hate Krupp. And if you hate Krupp,
You're wrong, apparently.
yeah, it counts against your character. As far as I'm concerned.
I want to kind of read a whole book about that, you know, like about Krupp.
I was going to say,
doing his
I
thing.
probably.
There kind of is one.
I was going to say,
Kinda.
I'd probably
It's not
continue
all about Krupp,
Malazan
but-
if it was just about Krupp and just follow Krupp.
Yeah, it's like you have to
I
wait
mean,
till
Krupp
book 3
continues
though.
to
I'm
be
like,
a character.
oh, dang it! Are you kidding me? But apparently, book 2 is like
Krupp continues to be a character, and there is a book later in the series where he plays a very important part through the entire book. I won't say much more than that. Wilful Prince made my jaw drop on the last page.
Yeah. So well
Yeah.
done. So well done.
Yeah, it's great story. Yeah. Have you, Britton, decide to continue?
yeah. I've heard
with
book 2 is a
Red House
lot
Gates?
more cohesive. I guess like there was kind of a messiness in Gardens of the Moon, which you know I'll be fair. People did warn me, so not saying I didn't expect it. But yeah, I'll give Dead House Gates a try. And apparently, the ending is like a real emotional kick to the balls, if you will.
Yeah.
So I've heard it's also heartwarming.
It's not the only one.
I've heard mixed things on what the ending is, but it's very emotional. That's consistent. Like
It is emotional, yes. And there are good emotions in there, and there are not so good emotions in there, for sure.
I'm now intrigued by the concept
absolutely.
of house-eating thingies.
Yeah.
Because I know that there are dinosaurs with sword arms somewhere at Malazan.
Dinosaurs with swords for
Yeah.
What
fucking
was fun for me
arms.
as I was reading Gardens of the Moon was just all the wild stuff that happens. Like there's like magic puppets and like dragons just show up, and it's insane. Like
Gods just turn up and have conversations.
it's just like
with
I'm gonna bring this
people
guy
and-
back to
yeah.
life because whoa, you know,
Giant magic eating ravens.
That sounds crazy.
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah. And it's not house eating thingies, it's houses that eat things.
Sounds
That makes it
terrifying.
even more epic sounding.
Also house eating thingies though. Yeah, there are house eating thingies, things that eat houses, but there are also houses that eat things.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. It is I've read a lot of epic fantasy, and Malazan is without doubt the epicest fantasy I've ever
I
read.
love
Oh yeah,
it.
epic with a
Like
capital
epicer.
E for sure is what I can.
I was
say.
thinking of a capital K, epicness. Yeah.
Yeah. It's epicer than
Yeah,
anything.
epicer.
It's
yeah.
crazy.
Then it was funny because I went
Yeah.
back to Discworld after I read Malazan. I'm like, wow, this feels so like kind of cozy, you know, in a weird way.
Yeah. Thornhall's doing a really good pitch. Magic orcs that can freeze you, and a guy that is 12.
Oh yeah, that's right.
jaguars
There's
at
also
once.
like a guy
Yes.
who like wakes up from a nap, and everyone's like, oh shit, he's gonna like fuck some people up.
Yeah, let's put him back to sleep.
Okay.
It's like, oh man, it's crazy. It's
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I mean, it's not a spoiler to say there are two different kinds of shapeshifting in Malazan. There are people who can shapeshift into a thing, and there are multiples of a thing that can shapeshift into a people.
I want my
Yeah.
brain to be able to encompass this. I really want my brain to be able to
There-
do this because
They're called soul taken, which is weird because it's not SOUL, it's SOLE, soul taken. And the soul taken they have a form which is a multitude of an animal. So one of them is hundreds of rats.
oh my god, that's so awesome.
Yeah. There's also another one that's thousands of
That's even
spiders.
better. Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, it's some crazy shit. And a guy who can be 12 jaguars at once. Yeah.
I'm
Yes.
trying my best to stretch my brain because I really need it to encompass the story because I know I need to read it. So
Yeah.
I'm working on it.
I would also I've said it before, but I would also encourage you just
Give it a
to
go.
not make too big a deal out of it. Read 2-3 chapters of Gardens of the Moon and see what you think. And then text me.
Obviously.
And I can clarify. I actually did a video just on the second chapter of Gardens of the Moon because so many people said, "What the fuck is going on?" Specifically in the second
It was
chapter.
kind of funny
But
reading
yes.
The parts in Durkistan because it kind of reminded me of Fafhrd and the Grey Mouser. Less horn doggy, but very like, you know, just guys sitting around drinking, basically.
Yeah. Thornall corrected me. I was completely backwards. Soul Taken are the ones that can transform
Okay.
into one thing. The diverse are the ones that can transform into
Multiples.
a bunch of things. Yeah, exactly. Should be easy to remember considering the
Yeah.
name is diverse.
And soul as in one.
Yeah, exactly. So they can take a soul form.
That's still really cool.
Basically. Yeah. It's very cool. The first time you run into one of the diverse is just like, what?
I love that as a concept.
You did
I
what?
love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's not even a new one to fantasy because Dracula's been doing it for centuries.
Yeah. Yeah. Although like Dracula's bats form
Yeah.
or whatever is never
It's
really
never explored. I mean,
the interesting thing I thought about Diverse is they very clearly are one consciousness, you know, and when they change into, like, the guy changes into 12 Jaguars, he's still the guy he was when he was in sort of a human form. And they're very consciously, it's a bit different than the idea, but yeah. Oh, that's interesting. I would like to read. I haven't read that far yet in Esselmont's books, but I would like to know more about how the Soul Taken and Diverse got to be.
I wonder if the Soul Taken has any
What they are.
correlation to Glenn Cook's Soul Catcher character.
Wasn't Erickson inspired by Glenn Cook?
Yep.
It's possible.
You can
Yeah,
see it very
definitely. He
clearly
actually-
just from Gardens of the Moon how he was inspired, like heavily inspired by.
He also has named Glenn Cook
Yeah.
in
the
Yeah, and he's
inscriptions and stuff.
blurbed like
inspiration
editions of Glenn Cook's books
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah. He's very, very clear about that particular inspiration. Yeah, all of the military side of Malazan, like, I mean, Black Company is much more focused on only military because it's just about a mercenary company. But the military parts of
But
Malazan,
now the need to know of
which is
are
not
their dogs in
everything.
Malazan, and how does Stephen Erickson feel about them?
there are two of the coolest dogs ever in
Okay.
fiction.
I will
in,
accept that.
I was about to say there wasn't really a
Malazan
lot
Book
of
of the
animal
Fallen.
cruelty in
Yes.
in Gardens of the Moon, so if you're sensitive about that.
No. He's nicer to the dog. Although the dogs have a pretty hard time. These two particular dogs. In trying to remember which book, Dead House Gates, I believe. The dogs come up and then recur throughout numerous books. Yeah, Mitch. It took me a while as well because I was with the apostrophe. I was always kind of pronouncing it divers, more like divers, and then I was like, no, it's fucking diverse. I mean, there are lots of them, so they are diverse. It kind of makes sense. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. It's been ages since I read The Black Company, but yeah, Were-Jaguars.
Yeah, there's also one part. It's at the very beginning, so this isn't a spoiler. But it's an old lady just kind of harassing this poor girl, and it gets worse for the girl. So and it's like, and then a friend of mine was like, "Oh,
Gardens
In Gardens of the Moon."
And they're like,
Yeah.
he's like, "Oh, did you know she was possessing her the whole time?" I'm like, "How did I miss that?" It's crazy. But,
It's more complicated than that.
well, I know, but I'm trying not to
With her. Yeah.
give it away here.
She's kind of got two people in her. But yeah. Again, Anitha's looking bored. We're not talking about Daniel
or
Abraham
Tchaikovsky. Have you guys talked about Tchaikovsky?
or Tchaikovsky or I mentioned him earlier, but we haven't really talked about
Wait,
anything
Derry, how?
particularly.
What time is it there again?
8:15.
In the morning, and you have
You
not
haven't been to bed at all?
Because I got up very early yesterday and then had a nap, and the nap went late, and now I've been awake all night because I have got my sleep all screwed up, and I'm trying very hard not to yawn in everybody's faces because that's really rude, and I don't find any of you boring, so that would give a false.
You're tired. Yawn away.
Yeah, I have not slept at all night is a good
Yeah.
reason to yawn.
So I am
Derry is in the future. Derry is from
totally
the
am,
future.
and I can tell you that at least from my perspective, the future's looking pretty good. The sun's out, the birds are singing. It's pretty good.
Nice.
But yeah, I am going to have to go, which is a rare thing for me to leave the pub before I get kicked out. So good night, good morning, and
I have not
Yes.
slept is a
Sleep
good
tight,
excuse.
Terry. Sleep well. Bye.
Lovely to see you all, though. So
Good night, good
Likewise,
morning.
Terry. Thank you for coming.
another day.
Sleep well. Evie, you mentioned Tchaikovsky, and you weren't here last week where I mentioned this.
What is that?
Of Shadows, Stars, and Sabers. It's a it's an
Collection.
anthology of short stories.
It's got
And
the
he's got one
yeah.
in here, and it's a between City and House short story, which was good, but not really what I expected. It concerns sort of the main character of City, the god character, so to speak, and he's almost not in the story.
Oh,
It's a story about another character who wasn't in any of the books, just sort of a normal somebody in the city, and he encounters that character. But it was a good little story. It gives you a bit of an idea what he was doing between the books and how he got in the situation he was in at the beginning of House. So, and it's got a whole bunch of mostly kind of unknown to me anyway, other authors. I think the only other one I knew was Peter McLean, who wrote the War for the Rose Throne series. And it's got a whole bunch of other authors.
Is that a review copy?
No, I bought it.
I think Alan got the review copy. That's the one Alan got, right, Evie?
yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm thinking about starting Tarkovsky in 2026. So,
he's good. He's really, really good.
Yeah, I know. You actually had him on your channel a while back.
I did. I had the coincidental luck of meeting him when he was in Berlin. And we got along pretty well. And then I had him on the channel, and Anita helped me interview him.
Thank you for that. Right.
Well, mostly Anita sat there starstruck. But yeah, I got three other people, Kyle and Anita and Pete. And the four of us asked Mr. Tchaikovsky lots of questions. It was fun. Yes, I know, Thornwell. It wouldn't be a pub without you telling me to read
What is
BPRD.
BPRD?
BPRD is the extended sort of universe around Hellboy. It's comics. And there's like the main Hellboy story, and then there's the organization he belongs to is the Bureau for Protection and Research. For Paranormal Research and Defense, BPRD. And there's a series of comics that goes beyond just the Hellboy story. It involves all of the people in the BPRD around him. And it's lots. There are, 10, 12 graphic novels that have to do with the BPRD. And sometimes some of Hellboy as well. Yeah. Shroud. Nice.
I love Shroud.
I haven't read it yet. I just gave my friend, one of my best friends, had his birthday on Tuesday last week. I think it was Thursday. And I gave him Alien Clay because I thought it might be kind of his thing. We'll see. I'm not really sure. I'm looking forward to hearing from him what he thinks. Zachary Shea, have you ever been here before in the pub? I don't remember. If you haven't, welcome. If you have, also welcome. Good to see you. Oh, Yeah, could everybody who always tells me to read a certain thing just go ahead and do it
Matt,
now?
reread Spear Cuts to Water.
And get it out of the way.
Read
I've read it
LPQ
twice.
already, please.
Okay, thank you. So we've got Anitha LPQ, which is always there. We've got Aslan Continue Tyrant Philosophers. He already said that earlier. We got Thornall with BPRD. Osa, I should finally finish Terra Ignota. Anybody else? Anyone got anything else?
I'm looking at my shelves.
No, it's got to be. I'm not interested in random recommendations. I'm interested in hammering away at the thing that you always hammer away at.
Well, rereading
whenever
Spear
you
Cuts to
talk to me.
Water. I'm going to tell you to do that.
You already said that. Yeah. You told me to do that, and I did.
But I'm saying reread it again.
I've read it twice. Reread it. Okay, I can do that. Bex says Evie. She's been debating reading Frankenstein for the first time. I've been debating rereading Frankenstein sometime soon.
Make sure you read the 1818 edition. It has to clearly say 1818 edition. There's an Oxford World Classics or Penguins, maybe both. But it literally will say Frankenstein 1818 edition. So that is the superior version. I say that, but there's obvious academic analyses between the two versions, because Mary Shelley rewrote portions of Frankenstein and republished it in 1831 after her husband's death, and you could tell that she became more religious, and she was dealing with her grief of losing her husband, and that shows in the rewrites. So yeah.
I did not know any of that. I'll have to look. I have 2 editions of it, and I'm not sure if they're the 1818
the
edition.
1831 edition is the most widely read. So.
Okay. So I may have read, I read it years ago. I think I had to read it in school, maybe in university. And I have no idea which edition that was. So
essentially the differentiating factor is in the book, is Elizabeth Lavenza Frankenstein's cousin or not? If she's the cousin,
okay,
you're reading the 1818 edition. So
okay, I do not remember enough detail of the book from reading it 30 years ago.
You?
That I can, sorry. I haven't got any tattoos from the book, so I know.
A lot of, oh, sorry.
But I can only recommend to read it. I do, there are, what I always get, I have a garbage memory for details, stories, names, stuff like that. But I've got a good memory for pictures. And I have a very visual reading imagination. So there are like cinematic clips in my head from books that I don't even remember reading. And I have some cinematic clips in my head from Frankenstein. And that only happens with books I really enjoyed. Like that really got in me somehow. Yeah. Apparently The Bear and the Nightingale, but you don't tell me.
I can if you want me to.
No, that's okay.
Question.
I'm aware of it.
Is Van Helsing anything related to Frankenstein?
No,
that's Dracula.
Van Helsing is a vampire hunter. Frankenstein is not a vampire.
It's technically a zombie,
monster.
if you really want to get technical.
But
Kinda, yeah.
But Van Helsing
really.
is
That's
literally
really
a character in Dracula.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I agree with Mitch. Matt, you need to read the Tyrant Philosopher's novella, The Lives of Bitter Rain. It is fantastic.
Yeah. No, I plan to read it before book 3. I already have book 3. Adrian was nice enough to send it to me and forgot to sign it.
How dare he? You just send it back and say, sign it, please.
I was thinking about it. we were texting, and he was like, "Oh, by the way, would you like a copy of book 3?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, great. I'd love to have a signed copy." And he sent it to me. I opened it up, and I was like, "Did he sign the back? Did he sign the middle?" He didn't sign it, but he sent it to me, which is really nice. And I didn't want to appear ungrateful, so of course I did not ask him to send me another one with a fucking signature. You idiot. Yeah. No, Aslan, I definitely do plan to continue. It's much more the reading swamp that I'm in right now. I'm just not moving forward very
You're reading
fast.
Conan right now, aren't you?
And
I thought I saw that big
I am.
Conan volume.
I am reading the complete Chronicles.
I mean, I like the Del Rey editions that I have, but I've heard that one's good too.
I just wanted all of it. Like, it's not all of it. Like, the novel is not in here. It's a lot of the short stories. I think maybe all of the short stories, not the novel. And I'm not going to read. I'm not trying to work through that entire doorstop.
You're just kind of skimming around.
It's short stories, and I've always it's like Conan is such a thing. Like, it was some of the first fantasy in a way. It was pre-Tolkien or pre-Lord of the Rings being published. That I never read any Tolkien. I never read any Conan. So I just thought I really need to read at least a bit, and it's all short stories. So I'll probably read 3 or 4, and then move on to maybe the last trilogy in Realm of the Elements.
Finally?
Possibly. Finally? Maybe. We'll see. Depends on my mood. Maybe the Tyrant Philosopher's novella. We'll see.
I tried Guns of the Dawn. I've had some people say I might like that one. Or I think it was maybe Evie who told me that. Actually,
Guns of the Dawn is pretty cool. See you, Anita. Guns of the Dawn is pretty cool. I liked Guns of the Dawn quite a bit, although I liked other things more. I think Dogs of War.
I want to try some of his sci-fi work. You know, like I'm thinking of trying like Service Model.
I would say fuck that and read The Final Architecture.
Heard that one's good too.
Or Children of Time, which is like the big one. What would Evie say? Evie was about to.
I mean, my favorite is the
something.
Dogs of War series. That's my favorite of his sci-fi. So, and it doesn't help that Bearhead is one of my top books of the year. Like,
yeah, Bearhead was awesome. No question.
Incredibly triggering. Just thinking about it has my blood pressure spiking in a good way, but also not a good way. So,
yeah, I would put Final Architecture a bit above the Dogs of War trilogy myself, but I mean, that's not saying much. I put Final Architecture very high. I think
Final Architecture is, as a series, as a whole, better, but the Dogs of War series, the individual books are each incredible.
Yeah, I could probably sign that petition. Yeah.
So is Service Model not good? Because I've heard mostly positive things about Service Model.
No, I haven't read it. I'm just saying, if you want some science fiction, the science fiction. I was going to say, I haven't heard great things about it.
Which one's the one with
I
the
haven't
spiders?
heard as many good things.
The sentient spider.
Children of Time.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yes,
I didn't remember.
Children of Time. I have also not read, and it's meant to be amazing. Like, that's the thing that really made Tchaikovsky a bit of a name. He wrote like a huge fantasy series before that, which didn't do that well. And then he wrote Children of Time, and it exploded and got all sorts of awesome reviews and stuff like that. Or, like, Mitch is not wrong. Novellas, Ogres and Elder Race are both pretty damn cool.
Elder Race
and they're
is like
both
Gene Wolfe riff.
It is inspired by a Gene Wolfe story.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes. Yeah. The Gene Wolfe story is not very good. in my opinion. But Elder Race is quite cool. And Ogres, I thought was awesome.
Yeah, I know Carlos and Yolanda really, or maybe it was just Carlos, but he liked Ogres. Someone over there liked Ogres.
Yeah, and it's not a big commitment. It's a novella.
It's incredibly
quite
relevant to today's
So
times. Tchaikovsky is really great at doing that.
Painfully relevant. Yes. Yeah, Bearhead just made me so angry for so many reasons, which are related to current affairs. But still an amazing book. Bearhead was so good.
I can't remember, Matt, if I messaged you as I was reading Bee Speaker that, again, reading a Tchaikovsky work, especially a Dogs of War book, at a perfect but sadly imperfect time, or sadly perfect time, made scenes that much more impactful.
Yeah.
I was about to.
Yeah. Yeah, we
I was about to ask,
that.
like, isn't Ogres about like a super rich ogre who like screws over the other ogres, or is that just me projecting?
No, I will not say anything about Ogres because it's something you just need to read.
He looked pretty dapper, I have to say. I've seen like covers. He looks dapper.
The cover is awful.
And the cover's stupid and has nothing to do with the book, pretty much. Just
it's symbolically related sort of to the book, but it's an awful cover.
Yeah, just read the novella. Don't listen to it. Don't ask anyone about it. Just read the novella, because to be honest, I think my enjoyment of Ogres was lessened because of everyone talking about how good it was. So I had this expectation that it was going to be great, and it is a good novella. I just had it in my head that it was going to be mind-blowing, and because I had that expectation that it blew other people's minds, that I was just like, it's fine, it's good. So just read it.
I'm very glad I had not heard any spoilers about it and didn't know anything really going into it. I think I enjoyed it more because of that. So I would highly recommend it. Reading it, it's really good, and I'm not going to tell you anything else about it. Fair enough. Mitch, how tall is Conan? He's never, so far in what I've read, described exactly. He is strong and has a mane of black hair. Robert E. Howard is very, very keen on repeating that phrase.
And icy
mane
blue eyes
of black hair.
He has those as well.
Is Conan a man with a trust fund? I need to know. A man in finance with a trust fund?
I'm pretty sure he's not. Although at the beginning of the short stories, the first short story surprised me in that Conan, in the very first short story, is the king of the richest country in the world.
Yes. Phoenix of the Sword.
Apollonia.
It's a good story.
Yeah. Phoenix on the Sword. He's the king of Apollonia. In the second story, he's still the king of Apollonia. And then later stories go backwards.
Yeah, I was about to say, and absolutely hates it. Rather be out there cracking skulls.
Who? Oh, he hates being king. Yeah. He kind of doesn't really like. He seems to be a very good king, apparently.
Welcome to the pub, Kaylee. By
surprising. Oh, Kaylee. Love going on reading sprints because they're all so different. This is my first time at the pub. The vibes are immaculate. Oh, lovely to hear. You are finishing a book of Rimbaud's poetry today. Wow. You are a higher brow than most of us, except maybe Evie.
That's debatable.
Evie reads some really obscure literary shit. So,
listen, I'm in my romance era. Look, give me smut or give me death. So...
Have you read Chuck Tingle's early stuff? Apparently, it's just like gay, over-the-top gay smut. It's apparently
I have not read any Chuck Tingle. His stuff is not romance, though. It is just. I mean, I think he does.
Oh no! I mean, no. I know his like current stuff isn't, but like his early stuff is like, really over-the-top, like gay erotica.
Yeah. So I read romance, not erotica. There's a difference.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Nothing against erotica, by the way. Like,
I wanted to correct Thornall, so I checked because I thought I was right, and I was right. It's the phoenix on the sword, which sounds really clumsy, which is why everybody wants to say phoenix in the sword. But there is no phoenix on the in the sword. It was engraved, so to speak, sort of on the sword. But yeah. I have not read the comics. I am unlikely to ever do so. But old man King Conan goes almost naked every morning into the royal forest and hunts boars with only a small knife. Yeah, that sounds like Conan.
I was about to say, I've heard the Kurt Busiek Conan comics, which is Dark Horse, I think, are really good.
I've heard they're good.
But,
But I probably won't read them. What I've been surprised by in the story I'm reading right now is there's a lot of what I would probably have to call cosmic horror in Conan stories.
You should read
in
Tower
some
of the
Conan
Elephant.
stories.
Really goes in the cosmic horror there.
Yeah, I'm coming up to that relatively soon.
so speaking of cosmic horror, at the event that I was at yesterday, the book fair thing, they had a panel about cosmic horror, and they talked about obviously Lovecraft and how you reconcile Lovecraft, his personal views and stuff like that, with this genre. And someone made a really great point that, it used to be called Lovecraftian horror, and it's become so much bigger than him that it's just now cosmic horror. And I thought
it
that
always was cosmic horror. There is kind of a difference between Lovecraftian and cosmic a little bit. But I see your point.
No, but historically, like he was so big in the field that it was generally referred to as Lovecraftian horror to differentiate it from all the other kinds of horror. And it's become cosmic horror because it's much bigger than Lovecraft.
And
now.
it's just, yeah, I thought that was a great point. And there was a question that like the panel actually ran over on time and they had to like cut it off so that the next panel could start. But someone asked a really great question about how cosmic horror and regionality play in and kind of play with each other, and like, New England cosmic horror versus Southern cosmic horror. I thought that was a great question, and it was really interesting. Like the panelists were really excited about that question and had a lot of thoughts. So, yeah.
I was never really a big Lovecraft fan anyway, and I'm not just being like a super swarmy. I'm just
I've never read any Lovecraft, so yeah, I can't say one way or the other. So. He obviously had an impact on.
I've read some Lovecraft, and it's kind of random. There are books where he is obviously being kind of a racist, and there are books where he is where he just doesn't mention anything where racism could come up.
David did a David from Four Corners of the Page did a video most recently. You can hear me, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I just got a alert saying, "Oops, something went wrong with the page." So I just wasn't sure if it like freaked out. Anyways, David from Four Corners of the Page, he
great guy.
Yeah, he did a video most recently about like the worst books by his favorite authors. And he talked about H.P. Lovecraft and how the worst one is, what is it, the Medusa's tail or Medusa's hair or something like that. And
I haven't read it.
Spoiler alert, the twist is that it's a very racist thing, like with that story. But
most of the stuff I've ever run into was he brings in a character, like a side kind of relatively unimportant character, but they're obviously meant to be stupid and they're black or, you know, something like that.
I was about to say his worst story is the
But-
horror at Red Hook, so just kind of get that out of the way. It's also his most egregiously racist one, so, you know.
Yeah, I've read. What have I read? I've read Call of Cthulhu. I've read Color Out of Space. I don't
Color
know,
Out of
I've
Space
read
is my
a
favorite one.
handful. Yeah, yeah. I've got just. I have a thing for things like this. You know, I have certain authors like Robert E. Howard and Conan, where I've been thinking all my life, I should read some of that. And then at some point I just break down and buy a everything edition. And I've got an everything edition of Lovecraft as well, but I haven't read that much of it yet. Maybe I'll throw some of that in there and I'll do in my short story phase I'm in, and I'll do a bit of a really old authors of stuff like this. It's like 100 years old, which sounds like a really long time when you say it that way. Like the first Conan story was published in 1932.
I still think they hold up. I mean, there are a couple,
Almost
there are
100
a
years.
couple stories where like, that hasn't aged very well, but it's not as much as you would think.
The Phoenix on the Sword. You can tell he was learning to write dialogue.
I was about to say,
Like,
there's some parts that go pretty hard in that story, I think, and in my opinion.
Oh no, I mean there's good stuff in it. It's a good story. I enjoyed it.
But yeah, no, I see
But
what you mean. Yeah,
the way the dialogue is written, I kept thinking I was reading a stage play.
that's interesting.
It sounded like something that someone would project loudly from the stage, you know, and not like normal conversation between two people. It was kind of weird.
I read Blood in the Mist
Anyway.
this year, and despite a printing error in the copy I have, I had a lot of fun with it. It was a very delightful story.
I want to read it. I wanted to look at fantasy beyond Tolkien, like before Tolkien. And I did research and I ended up finding a whole bunch of stuff that I've just never read. And Blood in the Mist was one of them. And I did a video on that, which included Blood in the Mist and a bunch of other things. But I still haven't read all of them. I bought all of them to do the video, but I haven't read them. We are coming to a time where I think I should close the pub.
Fine with that.
If everyone's cool with that. And actually, even if everyone is not cool with that.
You're the owner. Kick them
because
out.
it's my pub. Exactly. I can close the pub and kick you all out whenever I want.
Getting a little
But
too disorderly at
that
the
is-
at the pub.
That is not to say that I want to kick you out. It has been a pleasure, as it is every week. If you are new here, Kaylee, for example, welcome. I do this every Sunday at the same time. You can read all about it and be notified of it on the Fireside Discord, if Discord is the kind of thing you're into. There's a link in the description below, and you can join the Discord. I enjoy it immensely every week. It is a highlight of my week. Not just having cool people on the screen, but also having all of you cool pubbers in the chat. Welcome and goodbye, Mac. Good to see you, but we're closing the pub. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Yes. So, see you all next week. Have a wonderful week. Hope you're reading awesome things.